The past few days, there's been a lot of kicking and fussing on the forums to do with a new blog post ArenaNet released talking about their changes to the Guild Wars 2 trait system. This, among other things, included the information that to respec traits, players must find an NPC and play them a sum of in-game gold. This, in combination with another recent reveal that armor can break and needs to be repaired from time to time, seems to have got a lot of people whining. They say they don't like taxes on their fun. They say they want to be free to experiment. They say this didn't happen in Guild Wars 1. They say it prevents exploration. I can see the reasoning why people think this is such a big deal, but I'm also seeing a lot of jumping to conclusions and people missing the point. So here's what I think. First, it's a gold sink. These are good things. I tend to find, though, whenever this is mentioned, discussion always escalates into a whole different direction about in-game economies and stuff, which I'm not going to cover in this video. But suffice it to say, I do think, in the end, they are an important part of MMOs, and the fact this is a gold sink isn't something we should completely ignore. So to the point of experimentation, many of you might be unaware, but it's actually a known fact that in the PvP areas, players are completely free to fiddle with their trait setup wherever they like. These are PvE mechanics, and ArenaNet seem to understand that. Not only does that mean you'll never have to worry about spending a lot of gold in an environment that specifically encourages build experimentation, but it also means that you can always take your PvE character to a place where he's free to test things out for the PvE world later. You should also probably know that major and minor trait slots, the things which have the most dramatic impact on your character's abilities, they can be freely equipped at any time out of combat. That's completely separate to paying for respecs. So the only thing that's being affected here is your attributes, something of comparatively less consequence. So what's the big problem here? But let's not forget the whole point of the system. The whole idea is to give players impactful decisions as they level and grow. Not just growing in strength as you level, but also becoming distinct among your peers. Because in Guild Wars 2 there's no such thing as a skill tree or anything like that, the game's having to make up for it, this very core RPG mechanic, in other ways. Allowing players to respec anywhere they like then just devalues that whole system. Everyone becomes easily moldable clay, and the weight behind our choices at level up is lost. With constant respecs, do we really promote experimentation, or are we just encouraging everyone to flock to the established meta because they never felt unique in the first place? And no, Guild Wars 1 didn't have a price on respec, and that's true. At one point it did have a price on respec, and just so that you know, but that has been removed, and people keep going on about that. But don't forget, right, that nearly all of the content in Guild Wars 1 took place in instanced encounters where, no, you couldn't respec. If you were doing anything in an explorable area or a mission or anything like that in Guild Wars 1, you could not respec your stuff, paid or not. So in this way, much impact behind our decisions was retained in Guild Wars 1, because you were stuck with it unless you went back. Being a persistent world, Guild Wars 2 can't do that, so it's instead just asking we return to established areas like villages, towns and cities where there isn't going to be much combat going on. Is that really any worse? And I don't even think we should mention Guild Wars 1 really, because they're entirely different games. People, no matter what the problem is, a lot of people keep coming back to Guild Wars 1 for stuff like this. Oh, Guild Wars 1 had this, Guild Wars 1 did this. Well, Guild Wars 2 isn't Guild Wars 1, okay? ArenaNet have said it a million times. People need to get this into their head. They're a completely different genre. This is not the fourth campaign of Guild Wars 1. It's not another expansion to Guild Wars 1. It's Guild Wars 2. The idea that this will harm our desire to explore is an interesting point, because from what I'm seeing right now, the main thing Guild Wars 2's lacking is giving players that initial desire to explore. So skills and profession abilities are automatically given to us. Skill points are automatically given to us. Trait slots, major and minor, are automatically given to us. Quests are automatically given to us. Their rewards are automatically given to us. It's all in the name of streamlining the experience for players so that they don't have to wait around to have fun. Which is fine, but it's in the name of not waiting around to have fun that the community's begun shunning every single mechanic designed to encourage us to go somewhere or do something specific. Okay, these are not evil things. Players can have the freedom to explore the world, but if we're not being offered some tangible reason, some guidance to explore the world, it's going to eventually feel hollow. I'd argue that mechanics like armor repairing and respecking are actually, if anything, giving us more reason to explore than anything else. So for example, picture this, right? You're in the middle of the wilderness, your armor's cracked, and you fancy trying a new build. In one scenario, what everyone's crying out for, you just do it on the fly and you continue wandering aimlessly around. In the second scenario, you begin to search for a nearby village. Then you feel rewarded for actually going there, getting there. You find some cool stuff on the way, you might find some cool stuff there too, and once you're done, you still have your plans to explore where you originally were, and off you go. People need goals. Creating your own is fine, and there are some games which are obviously designed entirely around that philosophy, making your own goals. But Guild Wars 2 is not a sandbox, and it was never designed to be one. Adding mechanics that give people a reason to go to one place or another is not removing your ability to explore the world. And we especially can't make those kinds of claims when we have no idea how often you'll even want to respec or repair your armor. We don't know that yet. I think there's too much talk about, I don't want to be forced to do something I hadn't initially planned. First off, no one is forcing you to do anything. It's a decision for you to make in the game. You can continue to fight with your current attributes or your broken armor, or you can make the choice to go back and fix up. Games are about decisions. That's where they thrive, so enjoy them. Don't shun every decision they try and throw your way. And second, you're still playing the game, even if you choose to go back. You don't even necessarily have to go back. Where you want to go to, a new village, could be somewhere you've never been before. People act like it's the worst thing in the world now that they're doing something that they hadn't maybe originally planned to do. But guess what? Maybe if it's really that big of a deal to you that you're now still playing the game but doing something else, if you're really not enjoying it that much, maybe you just don't enjoy the game in the first place. There is the possibility that it'll become grindy. Yeah, I do understand that. But once again, we're jumping to the worst conclusions on misinformation and overreaction. We don't know how often we'll be doing these kinds of things. We don't know how much money they'll cost or anything like that. Well, some people do. It was all there in the press beta, and I didn't hear any complaints on the topic from them. Did you? So please, there are some things we should be complaining about, but not this. Thanks for watching. Oh wow, I really got on a high horse there. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to sound so patronising with this video, but there you go. If any of you disagree with anything I've said, please feel free to leave a comment later in the week. I'll be doing a follow-up video on everyone's thoughts on the topic as it goes forward. Yeah, thanks very much for watching guys, and I guess I will see you next time.